Hi, my name is Stevie Tracy,
And I'm Dan Allen.
and the title of our experiment is Dragon Breath.
The main materials that we're going to need for this experiment are, while we're making our mixture, are 50 milliliters of ethanol, 7.5 milliliters of distilled water, a gram of either lithium chloride or one of the other various salts that we're using. We're also going to use copper chloride, lithium chloride, and magnesium chloride. Right here we have measured out 1.5 grams of lithium chloride. We also need a weigh boat, obviously, a scale to create an accurate measurement, a spatula to scoop out the salt into the weigh boat, the 50 milliliter beaker, a 10 milliliter beaker, graduated cylinders, 4 spray bottles, which we have lined up over here, a meter stick, tape, and a candle, which is taped onto the far end here, and then matches and goggles for safety.
So the way that we're going to make this solution is we're going to take the 50 grams, or the 50 milliliters of ethanol, and we're going to mix that with 7.5 milliliters of distilled water. And we're either going to put in lithium chloride, copper chloride, potassium chloride, or magnesium chloride. And for this, we're going to put in lithium chloride. Then you're going to put in the cap and mix it until it's been thoroughly mixed and all the solid has dissolved. The mixture is then sprayed toward a small flame that has been lit on the candle, and then should produce a small and quick fireball.
Depending on the solution that is being utilized, the color that will be produced is going to be unique to each solution. So now we're going to turn off the lights and we're going to demonstrate the solutions that we have, starting with lithium chloride. Can we get these front ones as well, please?
Alright, just go with it.
One of them goes up.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So the next one we'll do is copper chloride. It should produce a green flame. Sometimes it's going to be tricky.
Is it open?
Yeah. Alright, well, it's supposed to produce a green flame.
The next one that we're going to hopefully produce is potassium chloride, which should produce more of a purple flame. Lastly, the last solution that we're going to demonstrate is magnesium chloride, which should produce a much lighter flame. It's technically supposed to be silver, but we're just going to have to see what happens. But it should be much lighter than the previous 3. Excuse me. Can we get the lights back on, please? Thank you very much. The theory that this experiment is based on is the electron excitation theory. When we're spraying the solutions across the lit flame on the end of the meter stick, the electrons within the solution that's being sprayed become excited and they're caused to jump.
This concept is based off the Frank Condon principle, which states that the absorption spectrum of molecules is characterized by the vertical excitation energies. This means that as electrons become excited, they move up to higher energy levels. This movement of electrons can cause luminescent emission of a photon, which produces color, which we can see by our visual aid here. It starts at the ground state, and when it is sprayed, it goes up to an excitation state and jumps up an energy level, and it comes back down and produces light with a photon.
This jumping produces a certain wavelength that is specific to each specific to an individual element. And this is represented by the color of the flames that we demonstrated in the experiment. The color spectrum that we have here shows the various wavelengths from 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. So for example, the copper chloride, which we were unable to get to work properly, was supposed to have more of a green flame. So you could take the green flame without knowing what the solution is and take a reasonable guess that it's roughly 500 nanometers in wavelength, which we'll get to during our application right here. What I just alluded to is the flame test. Excuse me, the photons of the various solutions that are sprayed have a very specific energy. This energy corresponds to a particular wavelength of light and so produces those particular colors. Therefore, each element has a fingerprint in terms of its line emission spectrum, and this information was found on webexhibits.org.
Another application of this can be with fireworks, specifically colored fireworks. Fireworks contain an explosive powder along with a binding paste mixed with a signature chemical responsible for its bright colors. The explosion of fireworks produces gases and their electrons are excited. As they return to the ground state, they emit colored light according to the chemicals used.
For our last application, we decided to have a little bit of fun and go a little outside the box. So we decided that a ninja could apply this particular experiment as a diversion or a distraction to go about his dastardly deeds. So that's the Dragon Breath experiment. I'm Dan Allen.
Stevie Tracy.
That's all we got.